traumatic experiences that happen in childhood that can increase the risk for significant health, mental health, and behavioral consequences later in life. They really come from a
Have you heard of the term ACEs?
No, I have not.
ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences, right?
Oh,
And they got different categories. I think it's like 10 categories, and I'm gonna share a video. This brilliant doctor was breaking it down.
experiences. And these are stressful or traumatic experiences that happen in childhood that can increase the risk for significant health, mental health, and behavioral consequences later in life. They really come from childhood experiences, and these include physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, physical or emotional neglect, or growing up in a household where a parent experienced mental illness, substance dependence, incarceration, where there was parental separation or divorce, or intimate partner violence. What they found was number one, a dose response relationship between adverse childhood experiences and some of the most significant and serious health conditions that are facing Americans today. Folks had experienced 4 or more. When we talk about how the ACE study was that for someone with 4 more ACEs, their risk of heart disease was double, right? For stroke and cancer and liver disease and diabetes, even autoimmune disease. And a lot of these things.
And it goes on to talk about healing. And before, in my opinion, we can heal, we have to first acknowledge it and be honest about it and our experiences, right?
yeah.
You heard what she said, and that was a
Mhm.
brilliant doctor, by the way, but you kind of heard how she broke it down, and you heard how it impacts a child. And then when that child gets older like us, a lot of people, we don't really want to be honest with ourselves and look at how many adverse childhood experiences we actually had. That's actually a scary thing to do for some people.
Mhm.
So now you go to it impacting your child. So do you remember some of the things she listed that could be considered as an adverse childhood experience, right? Divorce or your parent being
Yeah.
absent, of
Mhm.
course.
Sexual abuse.
Seeing domestic abuse.
Mhm.
Neither one of us grew up with our fathers in the house, but there are also step parents that you may see, but also domestic abuse can be other families. It can be
Mhm.
mother and sister, mother and brother. It can be aunt and uncle, of course, cousin and cousin. When you are a kid and those things happen, your stress response is activated. And as she stated, it impacts you physically, genetically, as well as emotionally, mentally, cognitively, all of those things. It impacts you.
I can think of something just to try to help it resonate for those on a smaller level. I remember when I was younger, my mom, she never minded talking about bills and, not having enough money for bills. Never considering how they affect the kids. Whereas now we have to worry about is we gonna have somewhere to stay, life, food, et cetera, et cetera. So those right there, just on a smaller scale, on how a child can, develop trauma just from hearing that or experiencing those things. Yeah, y'all may have to move and move with auntie, grandma, and they all happy they're around their cousins, but you overlook the trauma that was caused just from that small little moment. And not even hearing about this. Like I said, this is my first time hearing about this, but that's something that affected me that I always make sure my kids want affected by. You
And
know.
you can point to it, right?
Uh huh.
I'll give you one for me. I'll say this, right? My cousin, my older cousin, he's incarcerated now. He got shot on 2 separate occasions, right?
Mhm.
Back then, I think he got shot on another occasion. He got 9 lives, right? More power to him. But he got shot when I was probably about 1 years old. I don't remember that when I was born, but I don't
Mhm.
consciously remember that one,
Yeah.
right? But
Okay.
I'm sure subconsciously it had impact on me. So think about that. Your cousin getting shot, we all close family. Now you got mother worried, his mother worried, my grandmother worried,
Mhm.
our other auntie worried. You know what I mean? All of those emotions that's probably activating a high stress response for me. Fast forward 9 or 10 years later, I remember this one. I had just got off the school bus. I'm coming home. I see my family on the porch. I'm like, what's going on? I see my grandmother kind of rocking back and forth, shaking. And she's like, your cousin just got shot,
Mm-hmm.
right? And at that moment, we didn't know the severity of it, right? So we don't know how bad it is, right? We don't know if we're going to get a call saying he didn't make it or what, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going on. Not only that, we all are in the same neighborhood with these situations, right? So I remember being afraid that the people that my cousin got into it with was going to come and try to do harm to us because he got shot like a block and a half away from us, from what I remember, right? So then you worried about those things. If you like what you just heard, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, SNE 2.0. SNE stands for Spare No Effort. All we're trying to do is help people become the best version of themselves. So please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and remember, spare no effort.